Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, December 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And before I get started, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live class that I'm offering. So if you are liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then get signed up for the class. Now, because it's actually live, a bizarre situation here, because I understand that if you already have something on your schedule and it's too late to sign up, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and the class has already happened, just drop me an email, clay at claytrader.com, because the class will be recorded. So after it's done recording and uploading, I can send you an email to, or I can reply to your email and send you a link to the class. So again, totally understand if you're not able to make it, or like I said, if you missed it, just drop me an email and I'd be happy to send it to you. Now, if you can make it live, then definitely just sign up. There's a link down in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to sign up. So definitely get signed up if you can. If not, like I said, just drop me an email. And a couple quick clarification points. First off, I will be doing the 30-minute time frame. So if you're new to charts, that just means that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And next, the market is still open for a little while. So you're not crazy. That candle will be moving as I go through the video. But the market's close enough to being closed that, the levels I talk about are going to be, still relevant. But nonetheless, like I said, I just want to mention that, yeah, the market is still open for a little bit. So that candle is still moving around. But the first one here, ticker symbol IINN. And in my mind, this one is all based around one simple level, that trend line right there. Because to be fair, yeah, the thing is starting to push downwards, and maybe this is the beginning of the end. Maybe this thing is just going to drift into oblivion. But that is a two-sided coin, because on the flip side of the coin, or maybe this thing is getting ready to head back up, and if it can work up that way and break up through that trend line, because I'm sure there's lots of people have thrown in a trend line very similar to that, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, when you have lots of people watching the same area and wondering the same thing. While it doesn't guarantee anything, it does make it a more than valid thought to have that if the price, like I said, can break through that trend line right there, that could create a nice, in technical jargon, breakout opportunity, which could then lead to just more organic momentum right there. But again, to be fair, maybe this is just going to keep on bleeding. And if it stays down below that trend line, well, then you would never have any sort of confirmation of strength on the bulls part via breakout. So that's why, to me, keeping an eye on that trend line makes the most sense, and we'll see how things play out on Friday. Next one here, AMC, and not a great day at all. It did pull back here quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that line there, as it served its purpose for now. But the first update that comes into play is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So in the event the price does level out and then curl back upwards, that's where the big question mark resides now, is can the price get back up above that $31 mark? Because that is going to be that initial area of resistance. So keep an eye on that. Or if you want, and you want more of a, kind of dynamic level, I mean, it's constantly changing, then keep an eye on that trend line right. Whoops. Let's try that again. Keep an eye on the trend line right there, as that's another way that you could use it. Because, yeah, this, flat area right here is just always going to be at 31. But that's, this trend line here is more so gauging, the trend of things. So actually, let me do this just to separate it out a little bit. There we go. So now you can kind of see the couple different choices there that you could use from a resistance standpoint. As far as areas of support are concerned, I'm not going to call it a do or die level, but a level that in my mind is very, very important, right down there at $28.25. Because if the price were to go down there and violate that area and continue on down, all of a sudden you now have the price essentially having gone right back to where it was before the nice bounce right happened there. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of true power, true strength. Again, not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that is why in my mind that 28.25 mark, certainly very, very important. Next one here, GameStop, ticker symbol GME, had earnings. So I know a lot of people out there talking about it, and clearly not a good day with earnings. And actually, what makes this most interesting is just how bad it got in this form of, look how steep that trend line is right there. Yet that trend line was still able, the price could never even break up above that very steep trend line. And given it's GameStop, given it's still got a cult-like following out there, does that guarantee anything? No. No such thing as a guarantee. But is it valid to think that if the price can eventually break up through that downtrend line, that could create a nice, pop to the upside? Yeah, absolutely. Does that, send it up to $200. I'm not saying that, but from a trader standpoint, could that produce a nice little tradable opportunity? In my mind, it absolutely could. So that's going to be the main dynamic to watch from the resistance standpoint. That very, very steep trend line, which doesn't seem like it's going to be able to maintain the steepness moving forward, but I suppose you never know. That's why, in my mind, waiting for confirmation would be helpful there. As far as potential areas of support, as you're seeing here, it's been a very long time since the price has been down this low, and that next key overarching level of support now going to be way down there at the $150 mark, which is coming from way back there in basically late August. So we were talking about multiple month lows here that the price has not been down. So keep an eye on that 150 area. And then again, from a potential, bounce, or maybe who knows, it turns into a reversal point of view. Keep an eye on that trend line right there. Next one, LCID. And, I don't mean to state the obvious, but I mean, it was just a brutal day. And it's still just, as I speak right now, you can see even the last 30 minutes, just yet another red candle here forming, which goes along the lines, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it and the reason why I put this one right after GameStop is same exact general context, is this trend line here is absolutely insane. Look how steep that trend line is, yet it's still, the price still maintained down below there. So, I mean, how much longer can the price actually stay down below such a big trend line? And especially, again, LCID, it's got a pretty big following, if you will. So once more, guarantee anything? No. But is it valid to think that if the price can get to that trend line and then break up through it, that break could create a nice little tradable opportunity to the upside? It absolutely does. So like I said, same kind of general idea as GameStop here with this one. Very steep trend line, and because of the, almost the cult-like following of it, if that trend line can be broken, will that create a nice little movement to the upside? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ENSC, and did this analysis a few days ago. That's where the red and green lines are coming from. But after today's price movement, these levels here don't really pertain anymore. So let's just get them out of the way, and we'll talk about some of the new levels here, as it was a very, very impressive move today. So first level that really stands out from more of a support pullback standpoint, right down here at $4.50. You can see that after the gap up this morning was a pretty rough pullback, but that pullback stopped, went sideways for several candles, and then made a very nice move upwards. Then, of course, there was another nice pullback. But the interesting part about that pullback is, well, this one never even went down to 450 before, starting to, turn back around. So we'll see if that carries any significance or not. But point being that from a kind of just a general perspective right now, $4.50, very important level. And then from an even bigger perspective, continue to watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving, so as time goes by, that line's going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant, which is basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that purple line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, then the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. As far as levels of resistance, pretty straightforward here. You can see, generally speaking, whenever the price got right up there around $6.10, the momentum just seemingly disappeared. So keep an eye on 610 for that breakout area. But all in all, very nice move today. Next one, AVCT, and this thing is in the middle of a breakout right now, and this is why I like to do these videos while the market's still open. So, it's fun to watch these breakouts in motion right now. So we'll see where this goes. But as far as, a breakout play moving forward, not really. The breakout has already happened. So if all you play is breakouts, then this one has passed you by. Now, could a new breakout location form on Friday? Of course, but the level here that was interesting for a while was that resistance area right there, but got the breakout there. But this does now bring about a whole new dynamic, and that dynamic has to do with the question of, okay, is this breakout the start of something bigger? Which is important, because when you stop and think about the question, in order to ask, is this the start of something bigger? Well, something needs to happen in the first place, right? So you got that first box checked. The breakout has happened right there. Now it's just a question of, is it the start of something bigger? So if you do like to play momentum in situations like this, very clear, a lot of momentum here. Got the breakout. As far as next potential areas of resistance are concerned, next key level right up there at, well, that would make sense, to $2 mark, that big old round number. Going back through the history of thing, you can see $2 presented a problem, and then basically right here presented a problem once again. But who knows? Because like I said, the market is still open for a little bit. Maybe by the time you're watching this, you're going to say, no, Clay, it actually did break above $2. And if you're saying that, well, that just tells you that this breakout gained that much more upside momentum. So if you do like to play breakouts and then play those situations of, okay, something has happened, but is this the start of something much bigger? Then this one definitely belongs on the watch list. Next one here, ARDX. And I like this one just because I think a whole lot of people have done what I'm doing right here. They've drawn this line right here at $1.70. And they're saying, well, geez, $1.70 right there rejected the price, right there rejected the price. And then once again, today rejected the price. And it goes back to that talking point that I mentioned previously about self-fulfilling prophecies. And when lots of people are watching the same thing, wondering the same thing, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it's definitely valid to think that if the price can work its way back up to 170 and get the break up through there, that break could very well create just that much more upside buying pressure. So this one is pretty straightforward. In my mind, the dynamic that caught it was that nice self-fulfilling prophecy line of $1.70, not just a question of can the price push through it. Let's see how the price plays out on Friday and maybe even carries into next week. Next one here, ISIG, did this analysis in yesterday's top 10 video, and I make that comment because these annotation, the one annotation is now very relevant, and that is this annotation right here, that resistance trend line that I drew, which you can see first off from just a breakout standpoint, got the breakout through it right there, and then just exploded back upwards. But now, and this is where it still remains relevant, and this is just based on the rule that states when areas of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And wouldn't you know it, check that out. Price dropped all the way back down there, and then now look where it's starting to form this nice little hammer candle right there at that green line. Once again, does that guarantee that, okay, this pullback's over and it's about to go upwards? No, no guarantees. But is it a plausible thought process to have that? Maybe, just maybe, this pullback is finally over and that it's going to find some consolidation here before moving back upwards. Not necessarily going to new highs, but at least from a trading standpoint, moving upwards to potentially make another nice trade. Yeah, that is a more than plausible thought to have. So, it's not some sort of random area to think, wow, why did that candle form the way it did? Well, because, again, you had that resistance. And even, well, Clay, that's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, okay, so be it. If there's going to be self-fulfilling prophecies, I would argue, wouldn't it be wise to know where those prophecies are supposed to happen at? And we have a perfect example of that right there. So keep an eye on that general area as support. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level now seems to be right up there around, let's just call it the $31 mark. But all in all, the uptrend continues, big explosive moves continue, and let's see if this area of support does indeed hold and brings the price back up to that $31 area. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and another rough day for this one. I mean, it was a rough day for a lot of tech stocks out there. So that first update that needs to be done, which I've talked about before, when areas of support are broken and closed below, tend to act as resistance. So 1028-ish, right around that area is going to be that first initial area of resistance. So if Tesla does try to turn around, that's where the first big question mark is going to reside. All right, can it get up through that 1028-ish area? Now, I say ish because, we're talking about $1,000 stock. So give or take a few dollars. But yes, generally speaking, 1028 is going to be that initial level of resistance. And then as far as levels of support are now concerned, the level here that I think a whole lot of people are going to be watching, longs and shorts and everybody in between, is right there at 1,000. Not only just because it's a psychological level, right? Just the nice smooth number of 1,000, but it's also got a track record already. You can see acted as support, and then even essentially right here, last 30 minutes, acted as support. So like I said, long, shorts, all sorts of people. Longs are going to be thinking, okay, I could see it maybe bouncing off that level. Shorts are going to be thinking, if that level fails, then that could create that much more downside selling pressure, which is, both are valid. And that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong right there. So keep an eye on that. In the event the 1,000 mark is broken to the downside, next key overarching level of support would then be down there right around the 975 mark. So definitely some interesting dynamics are going on with Tesla, and it's looking like Friday is going to be a very entertaining day. Next one here, PLTR. And the first thing I'm going to do is making a little bit of an adjustment now that we have more data. I'm going to adjust this area of resistance down to that level right there, which you can see the price has already bounced off it a couple times, which aligns with, again, that whole idea of, hey, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And in this situation, that is exactly what's been going on, including the latter part today. So right here, let's just call it the 1905 mark. Very, very solid area. Again, not once, not twice, but 3 times now the price has bounced off that area. And that is a very important level for the same logic that I just discussed before, whereas if the price were to break down through there, what's that doing to the price? That's all of a sudden putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And as I mentioned before, price movements with true bullishness, true strength are not going to go back to where they were. And again, to be fair and give credit where credit's due, so far so good. The price is not going back to where it was because it continues to bounce off that 1905 mark. So you're going to want to keep a very close eye on that. And then from a resistance side of things, and more so basically kind of not a totally clean channel, but there is this sideways channel that seems to have formed, with the top part of the channel being 1985, that resistance, and then as we've already talked about, the bottom of the channel down there at 1905. So keep an eye on from a bigger picture, this sideways channel right here. But yeah, in the near term, because the price is still very close to 1905, that's definitely an extremely important level from the technical point of view. So that wraps up the top 10. Once again, if you like what you saw here and you're starting to see the potential, you want to take your understanding to another level where this tool begins to make that much more sense and where you can start to build consistency with it, then definitely get signed up for the class. But like I said, if you're not able to make it because it's just too last minute, you have something on your schedule, or if you're watching this Friday morning and you've already missed it, then drop me an email. Like I said earlier, the event will be recorded, so I'll gladly respond to that email as soon as it's uploaded and added, and send you a link to the recording so that you can see it. But again, if you are able to make it live, then definitely get signed up for it. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below, say hi, give me a smiley face emoji, tell me a ticker symbol that you're watching. But those two things, like button and then leaving a simple comment, communicate to me that you enjoy the videos. And as long as I know people are enjoying these sorts of videos, then I will continue to put in the time and effort to make them. So again, hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours. But if you missed it or if you can't make it, drop me an email and I'll gladly send you a recording or an email to the recording.